a 2-yard push into the end zone, and an overtime victory for your Kearney Bulldogs.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Minnick Show on KMO-TV and 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now here's the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Logan Minnick.
Yeah, let's go Bulldogs. Welcome to the Coach Minnick Show. It is a blast starting this football season with a victory, a 21-14 overtime victory over our arch rival down the road against Platte County. And I'm Mike Davis. I'm your host, along with the voice of your Kearney Bulldogs, Jim Dickerson. That's him, right there. That guy, right there. And Jim, more importantly, and not that you aren't important to me and others, but we have the namesake of this very show. Coach Logan Minnick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys.
It's good to have you here. Thanks for being with us. All right, let's get right out of the gate here. Congratulations on a huge win that I think had ripples across our community. Right. And there was a culture of, and I'll say it, I think, of mediocrity that we overcame last Friday night. And one of the things that I noticed that I haven't noticed in a couple of years is that we were able to contain a very talented quarterback and wide receiver, Dylan Zimmerman, and of course Carter Salzman, who had one, I believe, 66-yard touchdown, and a couple of very talented athletes and well-coached team, but they're also Class 5. So, you know, I mean, you're still putting football players against football players, but your thoughts on the game, Coach, just in a general sense. Congratulations on a terrific win. What are your thoughts on the game?
Obviously excited to get that one under our belt to start. You know, it was great to bring the Showdown Trophy back to Kearney. I know our kids were really excited about that, and kind of with our hashtag this year, Banners Up.
Love that.
You know, we told our kids, well, you know, here's our first banner that goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be in the school, and we want to try to continue to hold on to that thing. Our kids took a lot of pride in, you know, that Showdown sign. So we were excited for that, and then obviously just unbelievably proud of our kids, the way we battled, because there were several times in that game where it could have, you know, oh, we're down 7-0, or right before half, you know, if they stick that one in, you know, confidence may go down. And I think, and what we've preached was, you know, we're going to go into games this year and expect to win rather than hope to. So I think our kids believe that throughout the whole process, and obviously we came out and got her done.
I briefly just got some sound from Zach Grace after the game, and one of the things I asked him as the game went along, I said, was there ever any doubt that you were going to win this game? And he just, as quickly as I asked the question, he said, no.
Right.
And he said, in fact, in the fourth quarter, when Platte County, had the ball, he said, I knew our defense was going to take care of it, that they were going to take care of business. I mean, it was just that level of confidence that just came flowing through his conversation. So one of the things I noticed, too, that knowing that this team is so well coached, I mean, obviously ours, but referring to Platte County, with a talented quarterback and I think an offensive system that just knew all of the weaknesses that in the past that we had, and one of them was, I think, these passes, sideline passes from Dylan Zimmerman often to Carter Salzman, but often to a back, a receiver that's coming out of the backfield. These things the passes were over on the sideline, and it just seems like we couldn't contain. This year, I saw Friday night the defensive up front guys, Kearney Bulldogs, were able to push the play toward the middle, and we have so much speed on the edges at the corner that those guys were able to contain. And that play, yes, while they made it a few times, they got a couple of first downs out of it, we were containing that play. Talk about your defense.
Obviously, defense was lights out. I thought, we did have we broke coverage one time on on the long play. But other than that, our goal going into the game was, the interior 5, you guys have to be the run stoppers because, as you said, Platte County is so well coached in that spread game of we've got to try to get 6 and 7 guys in coverage at times because they've been running that system for years. So it doesn't really matter what you throw out. Defensively, they've seen it, so you got to try to mix it up. But the big thing for us was if we can slow the run game down and make them, one-dimensional in the pass game, there's several things we could throw at them that way. And like you said, we're very athletic at corner. We've got a bunch. Pretty blessed to walk into having several all-state track kids in our secondary, which obviously helps us become better coaches when you've got some guys back there that can run. And as you said, Carter Salzman is a great player.
Oh, yeah, great athlete.
So, we had at times double and triple coverage guys on him, and he's still finding ways to get the football. But our biggest goal is just, slow them down, stop the run, and, keep everything in front and tackle when they do throw the short stuff.
And I thought one of the things that was really telltale, and we talked about this during the game, you'd stop the run up the middle, but in the past, what we've had problems with is then when they break to the outside, it's over. There was no way we could stop it. At least twice, that goal line stand at the end of the first half, was that when it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right before the
huge.
first half. That was outstanding. I haven't seen anything like that out of a Kearney team in forever. But they tried, and then when they broke to the outside, I was like, here we go. And they stopped it. And you must have some speed out there because that was outstanding.
Well, like I said, we've got kids that can run, and I think a big thing we really preach defensively is leveraging the football. And I think, just from positioning alone, as you said in the past, at times when it got to the edge, we got in trouble with some of that. Every single day we do a fit drill of here's where you fit on inside run, here's where you fit on outside run. That is just pounded into those kids' heads. At times we're not the fastest team on the field, so we've got to leverage the football. And obviously, like you said, I think that's the play of the game is the 4th down stop.
That was outstanding.
Before half.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was one of the moments, I think, when, especially going into halftime, you just got to love the momentum that brings to a team. And I think we were just beside ourselves. When to stop anybody 1 yard, no matter where you are.
Right.
But knowing who you're stopping, in this case, a very talented team that's big up front, 4 tries. They had 4 tries at the end zone. That is unheard of, even at high school level.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that's we told our kids all week, and we're going to take a lot of pride in it all season of, football's changed offensively. Teams want to throw it all over the field, and you've got all the run-pass options and all that. But at some point, it turns into what we call a fist fight in a phone booth. At some point, even if you're a 5-wide team, you've got to be a physical football team. So we're going to try all year to take a lot of pride in when those situations happen in a football game. We need to win those.
so we came back in the second half, and of course this was at some point, I think mid-time, midway through the third quarter, as I recall. I don't have all that in front of me right now, but we saw the only thing I can call a power O formation that featured Zach. Let's just be honest about it. He's one of the biggest, toughest kids on the team. The guy's an athlete, and you can tell he's got Division I written all over him. And to feature a play like that, a player like that, and with an offense like that was just brutal.
Yeah, I kind of wish we'd gone to it earlier, because usually it's our short yardage package. So the first time we ran it out there, because the first half it was seemed like we had 3rd and long after 3rd and long after 3rd and long. Well, finally we got a 3rd and 1. So it's what we called our ham package, is what it's called.
I like it. Yes.
So we sent the ham package out there, and I told the kids as they went out, I said, if we get the first down, let's immediately go back and run it on first down and see. If we can get to a second and manageable or whatever it was. And I think the first time we ran it was like a 16, 17-yard gain. It was from the side, I'm just like, let's just run that again, boys. Let's try that.
It looked unstoppable.
Well, and I think, again, that's our mentality of fist fight in a phone booth. They have athletes all over that defense. Well, let's crunch everybody in and, use the weight room that we take so much pride in, and let's get foot to foot and let's play some football.
The funny part was, too, it was the last few plays in the overtime, while you were doing that, you could see Platte County picking their biggest guys. You could literally almost see them walking up and down the sideline. Where's the biggest? Get in there, get in there.
Right.
And they're moving these guys in. And I leaned over to Mike and I said, you know what I'd do? I'd let them box all up like that and just go around the outside. And sure enough,
Jim made the call.
I was going to say, someone with some brilliance who happens to be wearing a blue shirt today. No, I thought that was outstanding. I'd like to go back for just a second, because you've talked about the mentality you want to keep throughout the year. I don't know if you can characterize how you did it or what you did. There was something different about the team, even when they were warming up. And I said to Mike before the game even started, I said, this is different. Something's different here. It's not what they were doing. It's not the little warm-ups you do because everybody's pretty much the same thing. But you could feel a confidence. You could feel, it was just a different feeling. What are you teaching these kids or telling them? Because now you have not only the fact you can say, we can win, we can win, we can win. Now you've done it.
Right.
So that just reinstates what you've been telling them. But how do you motivate these kids to get in there?
I think it starts with we had a great off season, and I think you build confidence through the weight room and through your conditioning. We had an unbelievable team camp at UCM, which I think went a long way for us. We competed with several Class 6 schools at team camp, so I thought we started to build that confidence. And then I think we do some kind of competition every day at practice. So I think we just keep our kids, we're going to be competitive, and everything we do is competitive. And I think just the excitement of a new staff and a new season has the kids excited. Obviously, getting a win week one, will help them continue to drink the Kool-Aid we're trying to sell to them. And then you got to give credit to our seniors too. We've got a great group of seniors. Now our numbers aren't quite what we would like in our senior class. We'd like to get that up in the 30s and 40s again, like we had when I was here prior. But the group of seniors we have. I think I told somebody earlier in the week, we voted for captains earlier in the week, and we had 10 kids that had at least 10 votes. So that just shows we've got leadership in that senior class across the board. So I think you got to give those guys credit on that too.
And one of the things we talked about too that I thought was really good, you really did a great job, I thought, the coaching staff as a whole, of spreading everything around. So it wasn't always the same guy getting the ball. It wasn't always the same play run 6 times in a row and it doesn't work, so let's try it again. Hopefully this time it goes well.
Right.
And you were running guys in and out, and everybody's touching the ball. It looks like you've got some really great depth all the way across, offensively and defensively.
Right. And I think just being versatile on offense, I think also helps, get more kids out for your team. If you've got, like I know it's been mentioned several times, I think we have 6 or 7 more kids out for team that were playing other sports that didn't play in years prior. Get them the ball some, not only just to keep them happy, but it also has to keep the defense honest on that. And then, like you guys said, defensively, I think we played 18 or 19 kids defensively Friday. And as hot and as humid as it was, I think as you saw in the second half, we looked like we were in a little bit better shape, and the game came to us definitely in the fourth quarter and overtime, and I think that was definitely a product of we didn't wear 11 kids out for 4 quarters and then try to, whatever gas we had left in overtime. I felt like we had plenty of gas in the tank going.
Well, that's the thing that I noticed. We talked about it briefly off the air, but as you were replacing kids to keep the rotation going, your second team guys or whoever they were as they came in, they were all making plays as well. The plays weren't limited to the first team, to the starters. And I mean, there's a couple of guys that came to mind. I wondered, does Luke Nolan have a brother on this team?
He does.
Yes.
Grant Nolan for us. He's kind of our jack of all trades right now. He played offense, he played defense, he played special teams.
Yes.
He's our backup quarterback offensively. He's also the backup safety defensively. So he played, like, he got a jet sweep offensively. He had several tackles defensively. So he's all over the field, and we'll continue to play because the plan was, okay, Grant Nolan is going to be the JV quarterback, and he's going to play Mondays. Well, after the game Friday, it's like, he played way too many snaps Friday. He's not going to play on Mondays.
Well, the reason I knew, I doubted myself at first. I thought, no, that can't be his brother. It was the way he tackled. I mean, he just came flying in, one of those Superman tackles,
Yep.
and sort of head, arms and hands out, and sort of, flying across the ground and just making these incredible tackles. I thought, gee, that looks a lot like the way Luke Nolan tackles.
Yeah, both the Nolan kids have zero regard for their bodies. They're going to put it on the line, which you appreciate, because they're not the biggest guys on the field either, but they're going to hit you like they're 225.
Yeah, well, we saw it last year with Luke Nolan. I am so glad that he's coming back for whatever reason. I thought he was a senior last year, and I think it was just his level of play.
Right.
And when I saw him on the roster, I thought, oh my gosh, he's coming back. And frankly, I think he was, I know he was on several of the all-district, all-conference. He had all those accolades coming last year. But he just does a terrific job, and he's a ball hawk as well. In fact, he did have an interception, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then, but the one at the end, the interception was, let's see, that would have been number 20.
You mean at the end of overtime?
I'm sorry, at the end of overtime. Landon, is it Gottfried?
Yep, Landon Gottfried.
And I remember calling his name a few times, Jim calling his name a few times last year. But it seemed to me he wasn't a starter, as I recall. But when I saw him out there playing, I thought he was one of those guys that, as you were, subbing guys in, he was making plays. And then there at the end of the game, he got up there and he just snapped, 2 hands on the ball, snagged it, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah, huge play.
Yeah.
And actually, Landon's one that did not play as a junior.
Oh, okay.
So he was, a baseball kid and one of those guys we got back out for the team that obviously paid dividends for us.
Yeah.
But as a great player, and I think he has 2 older brothers that also played.
That may be where I'd seen the name
His
before.
brother Dawson played for us in
Yeah.
15 and 16, was an all-state kicker then. So we've had a good run of Gottfried's boys.
No, yeah.
But definitely Landon made a lot of plays, especially for that kind of being his first real varsity action, is not playing as a junior. So,
yeah.
But again, that play at the end.
It was huge. I mean, there was a whole bunch of other plays on there, however many plays we had from scrimmage. What did we have here? I think 293, well, that was the total yardage.
I was
but,
going to say, if it's
yeah,
290, we'd
but-
still be going.
Yeah. But the fact that one play really stood out, as that put the icing on the cake. That was the end of the game.
Right.
And what a great way to do it, to see the defense who had played so well all game long and have one of the defenders pop up and get from a great quarterback. I can't say it enough that those guys at Platte County, they're all on varsity. As I say, they're all on scholarship too. So.
For sure.
We're getting ready to take a break. We are here with Coach Minnick, the very first Coach Minnick show, the inaugural Coach Minnick. One of many, we hope. Stay with us. We'll be right back and talk some more Bulldog football. Today's business environment is more challenging than ever before. Exceeding customer expectations and staying ahead of the competition make dependable air travel essential to your business. The time-saving convenience of aircraft ownership is a more realistic solution than you might think. Imagine
No lines, no waiting, and the ease of traveling on your own schedule. EquityJet is a full-service aviation management company. From aircraft acquisition, refurbishment, crew services, maintenance, and door-to-door travel service, EquityJet gets you where you're going quickly and comfortably. Find out how EquityJet can help streamline your jet travel needs. For more information, visit equityjet.net or call 816-804-7072. EquityJet. Travel is more than just getting there, it's how you get there.
All right, we're with Will Lincoln, and you had a great game today, but take us through that the last overtime, what you guys were thinking, because as we know through the 92 Highway Showdown, this hasn't been your best place to play.
Going into it, we all knew what we had to do. Everybody performed as high as we could, and we did our job. We knew going into it that they were going to be good, and we had to play better. So we just did our job, and we performed our best, and we won 21-14.
You guys were doing really good going into halftime. What did the coach say to you at halftime to motivate you into that second half?
He said, keep going. You boys are doing great. I mean, going into halftime, we made a few adjustments on some little things, but, I mean, we were performing very well. So we just kept the same game plan all the way through.
And what would you say is different between this year's team and, let's say, last year's team?
A lot more heart. We play like it's our last game every time. We come in there and have fun, and we dominate.
Great game. Thanks for joining us. Have fun, man.
Oh, man, Will Lincoln, that is a leader. That is a team leader. And you talk about a guy who had all the visibility in the world playing down on. He was just lights out. And how many times today? He's your middle linebacker, right?
Yes, sir.
And I saw him come blowing through the middle and put all kinds of pressure on the quarterback, not to mention the number of tackles he had. I don't have them here, but it was obvious he was in on a number of plays.
Yeah, for sure. When I got here, I was kind of evaluating the roster and all that, and I've told Will several times that he's like a 1985 middle linebacker.
Nice.
He rocks the neck roll, and he plays downhill, and he's the old school linebacker that he wants to play C gap to C gap, and he's going to tackle everything in the middle. And obviously he led us in tackles, and as we talked, our game plan was, can you inside five stop the run? And obviously the defensive line did a great job keeping Will clean, and he made a ton of inside tackles on the run game, and as you said, a lot of the quarterback pressures he would add late into the quarterback pressures, and obviously he ended up being our defensive player of the game, so he carried us quite a bit.
Yeah, we saw it last year. We knew he had the potential to be a star at linebacker and just do a really nice job. And I could tell that this year he's really come into his own. I think, you talk about especially at the linebacker position, kids being able to play and without having to think about.
Right.
It's just such a fast game, and even at the high school level, all those kids down on that field have speed. And I just saw him. He was able to sort of see the play, to read it so quickly, and make the tackle. And that is such a valuable asset to have on your defense on any team.
Yeah, for sure. And his dad is one of our assistant coaches as well, so he's a coach's kid. So I know he's probably getting extra film study and pointers at home as well. But he's definitely a kid. When every week we look on our huddle, which is where all our film goes, and we can look which kids have watched how much film during the week, kind of to keep up with them. And he's always up there at the top of the list of.
Yeah, I don't want to leave the offensive line out, because we were able to score 2 rushing touchdowns, one of which won the game in overtime, right, because of those guys up front. Off the top of my head, I think of Carter Page, who I've seen reference.
Schmidt.
Carter Schmidt.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's Carter Page?
We've got Bryce Page.
There you go.
Page
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Carter Schmidt, big tall guy, number 71. Just
Yep.
I'm still learning these guys. The first game. So But that's a guy that I've heard referred to as maybe one of the best left tackles in the city.
Right.
And that's saying an awful lot. And, when you see the kids and the powerful teams that are around
Right.
in the metro area. You don't want to give these guys get their heads blown up too big, but a guy like that who can protect your quarterback, Casey Rooney's got to be happy about having a guy like that over on the left side.
Oh, for sure. Carter's got several Division I offers already, and is hoping and looking for more and some bigger opportunities as well. But like you said, he is the exact frame that coaches are looking for. He's got the height, he's got the length, and he's got great feet. The big thing on him is everybody's like, well, he's only 270. I'm like, he's a 17 or 18-year-old kid in high school. He's going to fill out. But absolutely, when you can. There were several times in that game where, you've got the kid that's going to Tennessee where Carter, he's yours, on this pass pro, and we had full confidence in that. And he handled that. As you saw, I don't think we had any quarterback sacks. That's definitely a huge part of our offensive line.
Well, that was one of the things that I noticed, Jim, from last year that Casey wasn't at quarterback in that particular game against Platte County, but the quarterback was running for his life last year. I saw none of that, none of it this time. And it was really, as I mentioned in our newspaper or e-news article, that it really was a tale of two games. I mean, it's just a totally different looking team out there from a level of intensity and just power. The speed on offense, and I think you hand it to guys like Luke Nolan. I keep wanting to say Nuke Nolan. I know that's probably we have to start calling him Nuke or something.
He scores again on Jet. We may
I know.
We may have to call him Nuke.
And Joe Marshall, who may be the fastest guy on the team. I don't know.
We had him and Luke line up and run 40s right before the season started, and Luke just barely edged him out, which I know it's probably burning Joe still to this day.
One of them was under 50 seconds in the 400, as I recall.
That would be. I think that was Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Marshall in that, and then
that's flying.
Yeah, Luke won the 110 hurdles.
He wants
state
to do
champion.
It again,
so we've got some kids that can run for sure.
Yeah.
What is Mike talked a little bit about it. So Casey now has the ability to stand back there and have some time to pass. So he's not running because we all know when you start running for your life, then you're just throwing the ball anywhere because you don't want to die back there. Who does? But it looked like he was really, as he got going, his confidence started to get a little stronger. And there were a couple of passes downfield that I thought were really sharp. Maybe a touch overthrown, but that may be a timing thing. The difference between practice and game speed. Talk about how his confidence changed as the game kind of went on.
I think, like you said, the less times you're getting hit back there, the more confident you're going to be in stepping up in the pocket and making big throws. And I think he has grown so much just through the off season of, early on at times he would catch it and be so ready to throw it immediately and, kind of happy feet of, I got to get rid of this thing or immediately get out of the pocket. But Coach Backus, our offensive line coach, is phenomenal. And we've done a great job of, we work a lot of different pass pro situations through the week and kind of what we may see. And here's the 5 slants or blitzes you may see. And then I think just our backs as well doing a great job of helping in the pass pro. And then a lot of our run game or our pass games built into some play action and stuff off of our run game. So I think if you've got defensive ends not just back there teeing off where they've got to defend run and pass, I think that's helped us as well.
Let's talk about one of your 2 sport athletes. Manny Linthicum had that was a big long pass I'm looking for here. Receiving, he had 73 yards, four receptions, averaging 18.3 yards per catch, which is what you want every down. And, of course, the long touchdown throw. So great job connecting between Casey Rooney and Manny. That's sweet. And it looks like those 2 guys have been throwing the ball around after practice or something because they're starting to get their timing down.
Yeah, they're great friends on and off the field. And I think, Manny's another kind of sounds like a broken record, another kid who did not play as a sophomore, and is a great basketball athlete and a great baseball athlete as well. So he has definitely added an element to our offense that I don't know that they had, the last few years of, if you give us single coverage out there, we've got a guy that can go. So I think, we just look for situations of, is the safety over the top or not? If not, I call him Manuel. Let's let Manuel have a shot to go get one. But yeah, those two definitely have a good rapport and have just, continued to build on that throughout the summer.
Yeah, I think one of Casey's other favorites was number 84, Bryce Page, as I recall. He was pretty active out there.
Right.
And at good hands, too. Big, tall guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Bryce as far as that, because, again, how often in a high school game do you have a 6'5", 200-pound, man out there?
Yeah.
Right.
So we rely on Bryce a lot again. I think you'll see more touchdowns from Bryce in the coming weeks as well. I think Manny just got the one this week. But Bryce is what we love about him. He's super physical, so we use him. We'll crunch him down and use him to block linebackers in the run game, or it's expected that if the ball comes your way, you better beat the corner because you're a man-child compared to some of the corners he lines up.
Well, he
against.
did. I mean, he manned up, and I mean, he posted up on
for
a number
sure.
of plays.
For sure.
Yeah.
So again, when you've got, like I said, we've got a good run game going, and then you have those two on the edge, it makes us pretty versatile.
Yeah, well, you start to see a number of players developing, more weapons developing around the field. I think one of the other guys, too, that I noticed, and I spoke about him before the game, Cameron Emmons, who I don't think played on the Jamboree night.
He did not.
Was injured or something, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, he was just a little banged up,
Yeah.
and we were just going to give him another week of rest.
Right, but one of the things I noticed about him was in some video in fact, I was trolling your Twitter page.
Gotcha.
And I saw
Mike's a stalker.
one of the camps that Cameron had been a part of, and he was one of those kids that, of course, they weren't in pads, so you could tell that the boy had been in the weight room. And he's not a big, tall guy, but he's powerful. I noticed that he had looks like 9 catches and 41 yards and averaging, almost five yards. They were short passes, as I recall, out of the backfield.
Right.
And he's also got some legs on him. He's got some tree trunks, so that when you hand him the ball, he can make some plays as well. He's a powerful offensive weapon for you all.
Oh, for sure. Cameron's a stud. And again, blessed to have kids like that on the team. And I know, as you said, he takes so much pride in the powerlifting part of building that. And I know he won competitions in the spring prior to me getting here of, the weightlifting competitions we go to. Takes a lot of pride in that. And again, like you said, is very powerful. We run a bunch of the little jet sweep plays where everybody likes because the backs get a reception and Casey gets completion. But he did a great job. I actually think we could have got him the ball more than what we did Friday because he was phenomenal when he did get it.
Yeah, who are you right now? Who are you featuring, if there is anybody at running back?
We try to call it. We've got a 3-headed monster between obviously Zach Grace and Cameron, and then Tristan Williams, the sophomore back as well, and then we've also got a 4th senior back in Danny Petrie, who did a phenomenal job in the Jamboree. Didn't get as much PT as he probably would have liked Friday, but we feel very comfortable with 4 guys that can go back there, and with some of our option stuff and our flex bone stuff, we need to be interchangeable, and we've got a lot of guys back there that we can depend on.
Yeah, you love being loaded like that. We're getting ready to take a break here. You are watching or listening to the Coach Minnick Show. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about Fort Osage. I don't want to talk too much about him, but I think Coach here probably knows a lot more about him than I do, and we're going to find out. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today's business environment is more challenging than ever before. Exceeding customer expectations and staying ahead of the competition make dependable air travel essential to your business. The time-saving convenience of aircraft ownership is a more realistic solution than you might think. Imagine no lines, no waiting, and the ease of traveling on your own schedule. EquityJet is a full-service aviation management company. From aircraft acquisition, refurbishment, crew services, maintenance, and door-to-door travel service, EquityJet gets you where you're going quickly and comfortably. Find out how EquityJet can help streamline your jet travel needs. For more information, visit equityjet.net or call 816-804-7072. EquityJet. Travel is more than just getting there, it's how you get there.
Hi, Kearney. I'm Melinda Strathman here with Bubbles the Weather Pug in his Bulldog Spirit gear, here to give you our game day weather outlook for the Bulldogs versus Fort Osage. Well, kickoff is looking beautiful, full sun, high of 85 degrees. About the time you're heading home, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 77. From your KMO-TV Weather Center, I'm Melinda Strathman here with Bubbles the Weather Pug. Have a wonderful night and go Bulldogs.
Oh, we're back. Wow, you snuck right in on me there, Brian. I was just, I'm just dreaming about football here, Bulldog football. We want to make sure that we mention our Stables Player of the Week. Would there be any doubt in anybody's mind, Brian, Mr. Producer? No, he's shaking his head no. That guy right there, Zach Grace, number 14, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, and one of them was for the overtime win. And again, that was that man among men, the full-grown man that he is, Zach Grace, was just a beast. And I don't think there's anything that he can't do. But yeah, thank you. That's our studio audience. Yes, finally. They were a little delayed, weren't they? But to see Zach out there with the ball in his hands, it's got to be just, to opposing defenses, maybe a little unnerving. I don't know.
Well, for sure. I mean, he's not somebody that you want to tackle.
No.
Coach Brinkley calls him the manimal. But
I got to write that one down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that he was one. Going into taking this job, watching film from last year, it's like, man, that kid needs to get the ball more. Obviously, if you can't throw it or hand it to him, we'll just snap it to him and we'll go.
I love that play.
But yeah, again, we'll take a lot of pride in that play. Now, I'm sure teams are going to find answers for that formation, and we'll have to make some adjustments.
And then you'll just tweak it, and they'll stand out there and
with things for that. But he'll be a staple of our offense all year for sure.
Can we talk for just a second? Let's talk rules, because there were a lot of people who were confused. In fact, Mike and I had to go into the rule book up there. We were like, I don't know what we're doing. Let's talk about just briefly what you were doing with the free kick, because that confused a lot of people, including the officials, if I might. What was going on there?
That's something which my dad was a high school football official for 20 plus years, so every year that I was in high school on Thursday nights, we had the rule book review of, if they touch a punt and don't pick it up, or any little crazy things there were to the game. He kind of hammered that into my head. And he's on my sideline too. So he's always my rule guy. Of if I start getting on the officials, I'll look down and he'll either give me the "you're right" or the kind of you probably ought to back off of him a little bit. But initially, it had gone through my head of, man, if this is a bad punt or something and we were having to get a fair catch, we'd have an opportunity. Well, then they had a great punt that was down to our 35, and then they had a 15-yard penalty on their sideline, which moved it to midfield. So I'm like, well, our kicker can kick it close to 65, 70 yards. Why not try one? So I asked the officials, I said, can I have a free kick? And the initial response was, no, you can't have one. There's still time on the clock. And I mean, my immediate thought was like, that's not right. I can, you can have a free kick anytime in a game that you want, anytime you fair catch. Just you never see it because why would you free kick when you'd have 1st and 10? So we called the timeout. We were going to run an offensive play, and I think we had some crazy hook and ladder pitch play or something with 4 seconds we were looking at, and then they come over after the timeout and they're like, oh, Coach, you can have your free kick. So it's like, well, then I would like a free kick. And so we run the kicker out there with his kickoff tee, which is legal. We looked up, and the officials told us that we couldn't kick it off the kicking tee and that it had to be held, which was not correct, which I at least was pretty dang confident that I was right on. But at the time, it's crazy, and I'm like, well, I haven't really looked that rule up or even seen a free kick in my life. Just knew that it did exist. So they told us we could put it on the extra point block, and it had to be held. So that's what we went with, and obviously we missed it, but the whole time I'm sitting there and like going, I'm going to win my first game here at Kearney on a free kick. Like we're going to be on ESPN. High school wins on free kick that hasn't been converted in who knows how long or even seen. But it's something that we do rep on Thursdays. So our kids, we'd repped a free kick, and our kids were like, "What is this? We're kicking off from the 40-yard line with no defense." So we gave her a shot. We just didn't get her done.
So I do have a question. So if I recall, you did the free kick, and I think there was a penalty right after that moved it up to the 35, give or take. I don't even remember what it was. I think there was 1 second on the clock, and then I think you just took a knee. Any thought of trying to kick a field goal from there?
Oh, for sure. Because they actually had the football after. They told us the penalty occurred after the change of possession or after the free kick was over. Because I was over there trying hard. If that penalty happened during the play, we should get another offensive snap. And then we just ran the field goal team out there. But they ended up getting the football after the free kick.
So what they were, what was, I don't even remember, was it a sideline violation?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was their second sideline violation, but they said it happened after the play, which why would they?
At that point, the play's over. So.
Yeah. I would have to think that the sideline penalty would happen during the play, but I was overruled. I think the officials were like, "There's no way we're giving these guys another kick at this in regulation."
They didn't want to be on ESPN either.
Right?
No doubt.
Nobody wants any of that.
Yeah.
I honestly had never seen anything like that.
Yep.
And I've been watching football since I was 8 years old, and I cannot recall ever seeing such a thing, which was really cool. I want to make sure that I correct myself that Cameron Emmons had, on receiving stats, he had 4 receptions for 32 yards, averaging 8 yards per catch. And on his rushing stats, he was 9 carries for 41 yards and with a 4.6 average. And Casey Rooney was 16 of 28 for 138 yards. Not a bad night with 1 touchdown.
Yep.
And nice job by Casey, and he looked. He's looking like a cool customer back there, and I think he's starting to look like he's feeling comfortable.
Yeah, our boys will appreciate this, and so when Casey watches this, we did give him a little bit of grief after his first touchdown. He was over near the student section and giving getting a little love. So our kids, we now have named that the Rooney. So our kids will really like that. But played well. We've got to, there's a couple turnovers that we got to limit as far as that. But first game, it was real going in as the guy going into a season. I thought he performed well. Threw it well. I mean, obviously, 16 of 28 is pretty good, and he's only going to get better. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. All right, Coach, we've got another Class 5 opponent that had a pretty good season last year. What can you tell us about Fort Osage? Because I know absolutely nothing about them at this point in the season. I know they're a good program and they're well coached. What else?
If they asked us for preseason polls, or now that we've actually seen them, I think Fort's probably the best team in Class 5 right now. At Raytown we played them several times, so we're familiar with those guys. And I know 2 years ago when we played them, I think they were starting 13 or 14 sophomores, and Well, now they're all seniors, so you kind of saw what was coming, and they had a kind of a middle of the road year that year with starting that many sophomores, but last year they go to the state semis, and I definitely expect them to make a good playoff run again, and they're so well coached. Coach Bolt over there does a great job with those guys. So we've got our hands full for sure. They are one of the best teams we've game planned for in a while, including my years at Raytown. So we've got to definitely execute to go over there and have a chance to win one.
Yeah, I
So
think.
I was going to say, when it comes to the guys that are making the schedules, who is it over there that doesn't like you?
Yeah,
I mean, you started Platte County, now Fort, and then Smithville's next. I wouldn't have been surprised to see, I don't know, the Chiefs come up in game 4 or something like that.
Well, you never know. They still could change that on us and see who we're playing. I like to blame Dave for it, which he says, the Suburban Conference obviously makes the schedules, and I think we'll always, even though Platte County's out of conference now, with it being a rivalry, I expect to continue
That'll always be there. Yeah,
to play those guys. But it's like, oh, here's the Kearney job. Congratulations. Here's your first 3 games. It's like, holy moly! It was like, so. Obviously, really glad to get the first one. I didn't want to be pitchforked out of town, after the first 3 weeks. But and I think what's great about it is, this week's going to be a measuring stick of, where we're truly at. So we're definitely excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, in fact, I think at the Jamboree, the other teams that you played were all Class 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, actually 2, Ray Peck and Pergo South are both Class 6.
Oh.
And Raytown Class 5.
Wow. All right.
So as we were putting that together, I mean,
yeah,
I think we were excited about that. And again, Ray Peck and Pergo South will be 2 of the best teams in Class 6, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So, and I thought we held our own and looked fine, with those teams as well.
I wanted to mention too. We talked about your coaching staff. Dakota Amu is on your coaching staff, and we talked about it off the air just a little bit. But I mean, there's a guy we talk about quarterbacks. This guy could sling it. And, great seeing him back, and a guy that has got to be bringing some value to your coaching staff.
Oh, for sure. You've got a guy that was part of a Jones program, part of a Gray program, and has been a Kearney guy his whole time. So he has perspectives of both of that. And then when I found out that he was going to be a free agent, that was somebody we snatched up immediately. He's coaching our running backs and working with the offensive side. But he's been great. And as I told you guys, we used Dakota this week as the scout team quarterback, which he loved. He kind of looked, I was like, Dakota, I need you to go over there and be the scout team quarterback. And you could tell he kind of wanted to be like, but I need to coach. But he was like, yeah, let's go over there and, go over there and get to sling it against the defense. And obviously gave us a great look all week.
Yeah, what a great guy. We had him on the show a couple of times, I think, and talked to him after the game, I think once or twice. And just like all the kids, I mean, very polite and just a great guy to interview and great insight, and a guy that you can tell he just loves football. I'm assuming this is a career path for him.
Yeah, he's finishing up school now, so he can get into the teaching side of it.
Good.
So he'll definitely be someone when he gets the schooling done that we want to try to get into the Kearney district and hold on to, because he's for sure an asset to our staff.
Yeah, you just love to see somebody that's been there and underneath the lights and all of that, and has played in the program.
Right.
I mean, that just makes it even all the more special.
Yep.
And I did want to mention, too, that I talked about it yesterday on Kearney Live, that we will be, this man right here, Jim Dickerson, the voice, your voice of the Kearney Bulldogs, will be out there Friday night in Fort Osage, calling the game. We are so happy to be there. Mr. Producer Brian Watts, he does everything around here. If it has to work, if it plugs in, Brian is responsible for it. So we're glad to be able to be a part of that. If you don't get an opportunity to go to the game, 102.7 FM, you can listen to it, and all of the wonderful play-by-play action by Jim Dickerson, and I'll be right behind him with the analysis and just some comments about about people in general.
I think too, Kelly Gentry's going to join us out
Yes,
there.
he is.
So he'll be out there. So that'll be good. The other thing is, if you live, so let's say you're a parent or something that lives outside of Kearney, you can listen to the game. Just go to the website, 1027carneymo.com, click on the Listen Live. You can literally listen to it anywhere in the world.
You don't need an app.
Nope, you don't need an app. If you have the MyTuner Radio app, you can listen to it on there. And there's like 30 other places you can do it as well, because Kearney's just that big of a deal. So there might be some college game on, probably not as important as this game will be here. And by the way, a little shout out to the Kearney faithful fans that were out there at Platte County the other day, last Friday. That student section, Mike and I have talked about this a lot. That student section was as energetic and loud as I've probably seen in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or change.
And it was fun sitting behind them.
Yeah.
Because they had the spirit stick going and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fans as a whole as well, really, really impressive. So you've energized a whole city.
Yeah, pretty exciting. We actually had the officials gave us a special write-up that said, proud of the way your kids handled themselves, your coaching staff, and then in the write-up it actually said your Kearney student section was one of the best we've seen in several years. So, we gave a huge shout-out to our student section, and hopefully we get more to Fort Osage this week, because that environment's going to be outstanding.
Yeah, I think so. So can you bring the cowbells? I think you can bring the cowbells, can't you, into Fort Osage? They're not going to stop you at the gate from bringing your cowbells in. I would say more cowbells.
So do you know anything about I guess they have construction out there? It's going to be, I believe the word is a disaster.
I imagine it'll be similar to what Platte County was this week, with, not knowing 100% where the parking is. And I know for sure we sent the info out and all our remind stuff of, you're going to have to park I think there's an elementary school on the other side of, it's a ways where you're going to have to park and walk a pretty good distance. So you better get there early if you don't want to walk a long way, because it's...
I'm thinking about getting a helicopter.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, I like the idea.
I think we might do that.
I wanted to mention one other guy. You mentioned his name, and that was Tristan Williams, who did a real nice job offensively for you, who I think is showing a lot of promise too. You mentioned him as one of your three-headed monster running back by committee.
Yep.
Yeah. Who also had a terrific game the other night. I mean, just overall, it was such a great performance by these kids, and there never was a let up, and you could tell that they wanted to win this thing, and there was no doubt in their mind that they had the ability to win it if they just did their job. And of course, we heard Will Lincoln, who's just a terrific guy on defense, a terrific guy in general, that just says, they're doing their jobs. I love the sound of it, just doing their jobs.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep. Huge win.
Yep.
Unbelievable, proud of him. And I like the best thing that Will said in that whole thing is, he said, heart.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to preach and preach and preach, is our two biggest things in our program are going to be attitude and effort. And I think that goes right into, the belief and the heart aspect of it. So we'll see how.
Well, we love hearing it, Coach. Thank you very much. Great
Yep.
seeing you. Good
Absolutely.
luck tomorrow night. Yeah, folks, be ready. Get out there to Fort Osage, and if you can't, listen to us on 102.7 FM. We'll have the live game for you at 7 o'clock.
Pre-game's at 6:40, I'm being told.
There you go.
6:40
Brian shaking
pre-game.
his head.
1027carneymo.com or 102.7 FM.
There you go. Thanks so much for being with us. Come back next week at 11:30. You got it right here for the Coach Minnick Show. We'll see you then. Go Bulldogs.